Hi, and welcome to the Knitting Game and Other Stuff. Come on in.
Scissors and string. Soon it will be spring.
Hi, and welcome to episode 59 of the Knitting Game and Other Stuff. I'm your host, Leslie, and I am known as Pixie Knits just about everywhere else. If you would like to figure out how to reach me and contact me and become a fan of the show on Ravelry, go to myordinaryjourney.com, and My Ordinary Journey is all one word. And there you'll find the show notes, and that has links to everything I talk about. So, first of all, I want to say welcome to everyone, returning viewers and new guests alike. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. I really do appreciate it. I love to share with you guys, and that's why I do this every week. So I'm glad that you guys bring me into your lives every week. I know that means a lot to me. So. All right, so birthdays this week. We have two birthdays. RDH Knitter, and that is Carol. And Liz is Crafty. Liz. Ladies, I hope you have a wonderful birthday and you have a wonderful day. Everyone deserves a wonderful day. So I hope you guys have yours. So that's very important, that it's enjoyable. So. Moving on, we didn't have anybody join the group this week. That's okay. So we're close, just it's very informal. But if you do come by, and if you're a member, just say hi. I'd like to hear from you guys, obviously. Some shout outs and announcements this week. The Fredericksburg Spinners and Weavers Guild cookbook pre-order is going on right now. You can find a link in the show notes to download your pre-order page and the instructions to pre-order your cookbook. If you are in the mood for some fine Southern, I'm sure most of us are probably from here in the South, but we do have members from around the world, so you might get surprised. If you would like to pre-order the cookbook, that would be awesome. You can find a link in my show notes to the Guild's website, and instructions are there. I would also like to invite you guys to participate in the April Dramatic Knits Knit-Along that the Dramatic Knits podcast is hosting, and that's Steve and Callie. So their Knit-Along this month is my pattern, the Three Willows cowl. So it's kind of a little self-promotion, just a little bit. But it's a quick and fun and very easy knit. And if you participate in the cowl, which is, he's got two things going on. So first of all is the knit-along, and that's separate. But in the race to the finish, if you post your project in their Dramatic Knits Race to the Finish for April, the winner this month gets my pattern. Now, if you already have my pattern, then you get a different pattern. And you have to go check out their podcast to figure out all the details. I'm not going to talk about it. Just invite you to go check out the Dramatic Knits podcast, and they have all the information there for you. A little, not a sad note, but this week I've decided to go ahead and postpone or cancel this week's Fredericksburg area podcaster sit knit. My partner in crime, Stitches Please, Courtney, she has wedding things to attend to, which is wonderful. And my life this week has been a little upside down and topsy-turvy, and I'm going to have to work very late tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to host. By all means, if you're in the area and you just want to stop by and go to Barnes & Noble and sit knit, feel free. I just won't be there. I'm sorry. Such is life. Okay, so the last thing in the shout outs and announcements is the AF3 Charity Sock Yarn Club update for this week. Everybody should have gotten their shipment or be very close to getting their March shipments, which was the navy inspired colorway. Some folks have reached out to me and said, gee darn, I don't really know what I'm going to knit with this wonderful yarn. So I went through and tried to find some patterns that I thought kind of embraced the theme nautical and being of the sea and for the sea and inspired by the oceans and the waves. So I wanted to share some patterns that I thought would go really well with the yarn. And you don't have to have the yarn to knit these patterns by any imagination. So let me see. Starting off, if you give me 1 second, let me find it. Okay, I'm back. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about was the patterns that I thought would fit well. So first I wanted to start off with the Fisherman's Wife socks. And hopefully you don't get a glare. But these are some really neat socks with a cable pattern. They're inspired by the Ganse's fisherman sweaters from the British Isles. So you've got some cable and some lace to kind of mellow out the cable, but what's really neat is apparently they're not really cables, they're just like twisted stitches. So that's really, really neat. And it's just yarn overs for the lace. So it seems like it would be a really easy kind of pattern to do. The next pattern, it was also a pair of socks, and these are called mermaid's tails, and I just like how the pattern came out. So the mermaid's tail, and then another one. Now these are kind of paid. I do have one free one, but this is the Song of the Sea cowl, and you can tell it's kind of inspired by ocean waves. And finally, this is a free pattern. This is the Rough Sea shawl, and it's kind of like a shawlette. I know you can't see much detail. It looks like there's a lot of you know, pretty like stockinette, or it doesn't look like there's a lot of patterning too much, but there's it stretched out. So those are 4 quick patterns that I pulled that I thought I would share, that I thought would look good with the yarn. Now I'll show you the yarn in a little bit. Let's see. Alright, so moving on. I am going to have a knitting game this week. I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on me knitting to 0. Should I really do that and not cast anything on new until I finish everything that I have working? And there's a lot. So go ahead and cast your vote and let me know. You can vote as often as you want. It's either yes or no. Leave comments, because then I'll know what you're thinking. Maybe there's a middle ground. That would be good to know too. So I do have some voting this week, which is, I haven't done that in about a month, so that's kind of nice to have something to vote on. So let me know, yes or no, knit to 0. What are your thoughts? Okay, so let's see. What have I been working on knitting game wise? Well, I didn't work on the Vittorio this week. Unfortunately, it just didn't have time. But I busted my fanny on the Easy 100th Anniversary Camping Half Circle Shawl. I finished that last set of leaf repeats motif, and I have done the middle, I guess, border section, between the motifs, and I am getting ready to do the edging. I am so happy. So here is the progress to date, the stitch marker there. That is the last time you saw it. So I was able to work on it quite a bit yesterday. So I got that whole last repeat done, and I'm going to start the edging. So my Christmas shawl sorry, I went off camera. My Christmas shawl turned into a Mother's Day gift. I'm pretty sure that's how it's going to work. So by the time I get that finished. But I am to the edging, so that is pretty cool. Alrighty, so I left my Aurora socks in my purse, so I'm not going to show you. But last week, when I showed you the progress on the socks, I had just turned the heel. Or I was beginning to turn the heel. So I turned the heel, I knit the flap, I knit the leg, and I'm getting ready to start the cuff. So hopefully next week I'll have some finished socks to show you. So yay! And then the other thing that got some knitting love this week was my Rocky Coast cardigan. So I am increasing still, doing the raglan increases. And you can see there, that is my stitch marker. I'm not really sure. It's coming out, and I think the cabling is pretty sparse enough, and the pattern is just subtle enough that if it's a little wonky, people aren't really going to notice. It's not screaming at me that it's wrong, but I think I did a boo-boo when I first started. I'm not sure, because the pattern calls for me to do 2 stitches and then start the pattern, and then it tells me to continue in the established pattern, so I don't know if I add 2 stitches to the side for every row or just that first one or what. So I don't know. I'm kind of winging it, and every time I get some more room here, like on the, this is the front because it's top down. So here's the front. This is going to be where the top band, neck band goes. So this part is the front. This is the arm. Between these two, this is the back here. And then obviously the other arm and the other front. So I'm knitting these on my Chowgu red lace number 10.5 US interchangeable, and I'm using the Lion brand Fisherman's Wool yarn. So that's coming along fairly well. So in timeout, I still have, and this is what you need to consider when yes, knit to 0, or no, it's okay, maybe go ahead and cast something on. So I have my 100th anniversary shawl, the Vittorio. Then I have the Knitting Game Sensual Knits sweater and the Exotic Drape ruffle, which I haven't even talked about. I have the Aurora socks and the Rocky Coast cardigan. Then in timeout, not Knitting Game related, just other projects that I have in timeout, is the Downton Abbey Mystery Knit Along, Jason's first sweater, which is now mine, and the Don't Cage Me in socks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 projects that I have going all at the same time, and 3 of them are sweaters. I really don't know if I want to wait a year and a half to be able to cast something else new on, but we'll see. So anyway, we're going to go on to stash. So like I had mentioned earlier in the show, the AF3 Charity Sock Yarn Club had a new yarn go out this weekend, and it is called Formal Attire. And this month's yarn was provided by Inked Knits, you can see right there. And M is based out of Anchorage, Alaska. And I will read you the little dedication on her button band. Usually I talk to the dyer and they give me some feedback, and I put it in a little dyer's note on the little insert I do for the club. But she put hers on the button band, and it is so, oh my gosh. So this is what Emily had to say about formal attire and her Navy-inspired colorway. When I think of the Navy, I picture my uncle in his formal uniform. He always looked so dashing and formidable. I was so proud to stand next to him. So it seemed only natural that I would choose to honor the men and women of the Navy by taking my inspiration from their formal uniforms. I hope you enjoy this special colorway designed by Anders Mill for the AF3 Club. So it's on her Denali base, and it is a beautiful variegated yarn with blues, grays, and white. So you can see why I think I think I'm going to do the fisherman socks with this. I think that'll be really spectacular. All right, so the other stash enhancement that I got. Some background. I was part of the Three Irish Girls Stash Menagerie Club. And as you may know, the Three Irish Girls have decided to not do their yarn clubs anymore in favor of being able to wholesale, because she needs to, she changed her business model up to better manage her time and be with family and things like that. So I got a store credit, and I got a $27 store credit to cover what I'd already paid in for the April club, but there is no April club. So I started looking around and I decided, ooh, you know what? I really like this color. And it was this happy shade of yellow. And I thought, oh man, I really want to knit something out of this color. And I found this pattern, the geodesic cardigan. And I think there's been several folks that have knit this one. But then I started thinking, well, you know what? They call for Malabrigo lace, and I was a little worried that the lace would be so far off, because there's cobweb lace and then thicker lace that's almost a light fingering, and I figured, you know what, just to be on the safe side, for once, I'm going to go with the yarn that the pattern calls for. So I go to Mr. Yarn, and they have a yellow that is close to the yellow that I wanted. And, oh, I haven't even taken it. Oh my God, it's so soft. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic bag. So here is the yarn. This is Malabrigo lace, and this is in the Sauterne colorway. It is this not lemon yellow, it's darker than that, kind of like a daffodil. It's almost like a daffodil yellow. Oh my God, this is so soft. Holy crap. So anyway, the pattern for my size only calls for 3. And when I originally was looking, I was like, okay, I thought I was the largest size, which calls for 4. So I'm thinking, you know what, let me just pick up 5, because I think I want to make it a little bit longer. So I picked up 5. But the good thing is I got the discount from Mr. Yarn, so it only cost me like $35 for this, and I have some insane amount. It's like 2,200 yards of this stuff. And I'm going to do the geodesic cardigan with this, and I'm going to, I think, no, the sleeves are a good length. I'm just going to lengthen the body a little bit, because I like my sweaters to be a little bit longer. And come to find out, I don't have to knit the biggest size. When I checked my bust size, because the sweater doesn't call for any ease, it's very fitted. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest size. I was the next to the biggest size, so that only calls for 3. So I've got like 2 extra skeins. So I think I'm going to be good. So those are my 2 stash enhancements for my knitting. Now for my spinning. I finished the first of the 3rd of my 4-ounce braid of the Wild Hair Fiber Studios faux cashmere, in the sugar maple colorway. So that is the first of 3. So I'm going to do 2 more bobbins, and I'm going to do a 3-ply yarn with this. So there you go. You can't really see, and I'm sure the lighting in here is horrible. It's a little bit later than I usually record. So I talked about the roll logs that I got from the Blue Mountain Handcrafts, and it was in the Woodstock colorway, and I had it on the bobbin still last week, but I got it off of the bobbin, and here you go. This is 120 yards of the thick and thin, slubby, sometimes just art yarn, and it is so pretty. So I got 120 yards in here, but what I decided to do is with my art yarns, I am going to, I guess, siphon off some, and I'm going to put them in a shadow box. So I took 5 yards and I did a mini skein, and here is the shadow box. Now I don't know if that comes out okay, and if there's a glare, I'm sorry. I couldn't take a good photograph of it because there was the glare on the glass. But that is my shadow box, and that's like 5 yards. I think it came out so pretty. So I'm going to mount this on the wall, and I don't know if I'm going to take it to the office and do it, or if I'm just going to put it up here. I don't really think it matters. Oh, going back to the formal attire, the bag. So Anders Mill is also the bag maker for if you chose the bag option for the club. So this month's bag was a large drawstring bag, and don't you just love the fabric? Oh my goodness, the nautical theme, I love it. The old style navigation maps. Isn't that great? And it is a big, big, big cavernous bag with the drawstring. So there you go. So I wanted to show the bag. I forget to show the bag sometimes. So I wanted to show the bag. Speaking of bags, bags, and more bags. I'm trying to clean out the inventory I have in my shop right now. So for this week, if you use the coupon code clearance45, it's, one word, clearance45, you get 45% off of everything in the shop this week. So hopefully I can clear out the stock and start new. And I thought I had some sweater bags worth of fabric. Come to find out, I really didn't. And I feel bad about that because I told someone today that I thought I had some at home, just not up in the shop. But when I just looked before I recorded, I don't. So I'm going to have to rectify that. So the sweater bags are a good deal. So this week only, 45% off. And I'm planning on putting things up there as soon as I can get some stuff photographed. Look for an update probably Saturday afternoon sometime, maybe about 3. I think I can get some photos taken. That would be good. So if you want to wait, that's fine. But go ahead and pick something up. Alrighty, everybody, that's all I have. I hope you enjoy this week and you come back again. Don't forget to go check out the Dramatic Knits podcast and look for their information on their knit along. And I'll see you next week. Bye.